Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is, well, it's on pretty much everyone's mind. Is the Middle East about to explode into a massive regional war? Let's break it down. So, we're looking at this incredibly explosive situation, a whole region just teetering on the edge. There's this really fascinating idea in Middle East studies that you can think of Lebanon as the region's thermometer. When a crisis is really heating up, that's where you see the first signs of a fever. And right now, that thermometer is absolutely redlining. It's basically shattering. But what's really going on here is deeper than the daily headlines. There is a huge, complex tug of war happening behind the curtain, pulling the entire region in two completely different directions. So which way is it going to go? Towards all-out war or some kind of fragile, hold-your-breath kind of peace? All right, so let's start with the case for war. Who exactly is pushing for this? Who are the voices out there insisting that another conflict isn't just possible, but absolutely necessary? This quote, wow, it just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? For the right-wing leadership in Israel, what started on October 7th isn't over, not by a long shot. They see it as a project, a successful but unfinished project. It's a rare window, a golden opportunity to land a major blow against Iran and its proxy Hezbollah. And believe me, they have no intention of letting that window just slam shut. Okay, so the big question, how do you get America on board for something like that? Well, there's a playbook, a three-step plan. Step 1, you paint Iran as this massive, urgent nuclear threat. Step 2, you take the conflict global, connecting it to things happening all over the world. And step 3, you get your powerful friends in Washington to start making the case directly. The whole idea is to build a story for war that the United States just can't ignore. But hold on, that's just one side of the coin. Because for every person beating the drum for war, there's this other group pushing back. And this is the really interesting part. It's a powerful and honestly kind of surprising coalition. Get this, right inside the American conservative movement, there's this huge split. On one side, you have your traditional, hawkish, pro-Israel lobby. But on the other, you've got this new, really influential America First crowd. And they're basically saying, no way, we are not getting dragged into another war in the Middle East. And this internal fight, it's causing total gridlock in D.C. But it's not just the political infighting in Washington that's putting the brakes on things. Nope. There's another force at play, a force that's all about money, a lot of money. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. So what's this all about? This is the new lobby. It's the hugely wealthy Gulf states. Think Saudi Arabia, the UAE. And they are pushing for peace, not because they're idealists, but because it's just smart business. These guys are in the middle of these massive, history-making transformations, pouring billions into becoming global hubs for tech and finance. And they know that a regional war would make all those dreams go up in smoke. Just poof. And their biggest fear is pretty wild when you think about it. It's not about losing a traditional battle. It's about perception. Just one small drone hitting a shiny skyscraper in Dubai could trigger more economic damage from investors pulling their money out than an actual military defeat would. So as you can see, their main goal is all about the economy, and their nightmare scenario is a regional war that wrecks it. And that creates a huge counterbalance to the pro-war camp. And all of this, it brings us right to the center of the storm, the White House. This is where you have these two giant forces, the war lobby and this new peace coalition, locked in a fierce battle for influence. And the whole thing boils down to a president who is, well, famously unpredictable. Look, President Trump's approach to foreign policy is, well, let's just say it's fluid. A lot of it seems to come down to who has his ear last. And his stance on Gaza is a perfect case study. First, he's on Twitter with full-throated support for destroying Hamas. But then, an operation involving Doha goes sideways and bam, he does a complete 180. Suddenly, he's all about diplomacy through Turkey and Qatar. It completely flipped the script, and everyone, allies and adversaries, was left spinning, trying to figure out what just happened. And you have to understand, this isn't a mistake. It's not a bug, it's a feature. From the administration's perspective, this unpredictability is a weapon. By refusing to be tied down to any one ideology or set of rules, they keep everyone, friends and enemies, constantly off balance. Nobody ever knows for sure what the next move will be. So, where does that leave the Middle East today? Well, it's caught in this incredibly tense, wobbly balance. The immediate march to war has been stopped for now, but man, the danger is still very, very real. For now, it's this tangled web of competing interests. The anti-war faction in the U.S., combined with the economic fears of the Gulf states, that has held the immediate threat of war in check. But that's all it is, a check. All the core ingredients for a massive conflict are still right there on the board. That unfinished project, yeah, it's just been paused. It hasn't been canceled.
And that leaves us with one final provocative question. You have this incredibly high-stakes game going on, with these massive forces pulling in opposite directions. The whole future of the Middle East is literally hanging by a thread. So the real question isn't just if the scales will tip, it's what or who is going to be the one to give it that final push.